I am here to tell you that you need to believe in yourself even when there isn't proof yet, okay? Because people may say you're crazy. You may think you're crazy, and you might be a little crazy. But you're going after what you want and what you see for yourself. And that is all that matters. I just knocked down the water right here. Anyways, hello everyone. My name is Branson. And I felt like talking about this today because I just love people believing in themselves. And I love when people can see what's not there yet. I love when people can see past what's right, what they think is right here, when really there's a whole break the mirror. Because right now you're looking in the reflection a little bit, but you might need to break it a little bit, and then you see past it, and you're like, wait, is this me? When will my reflection show? Okay, let me stop. Anyways, so yes, this is me coming on here, speaking a little bit of words of encouragement, as I sometimes do, as someone who is, I would say I'm an optimist. I'm not optimistic all the time, okay? Because there are times where I'm just like, ooh, this season is really a lot right now. It's taking me on a roller coaster, but you know what? What matters is that we come back to the happy side. We come back to the optimistic side. We come back to the positive, okay? Because when you do that, your life starts to shift a little bit. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, what am I doing? I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, the first reason I wanted to talk about this is because, well, one of the points of this is think about yourself 5 years ago and what you couldn't do that you now can. Are you thinking? Maybe you're not, because a lot of people, when they have YouTube videos like this and they're talking and then they say, I'll wait, I'm actually just looking at them and you're probably just looking at me like, Branson. No, but I'm serious though. Think about something you couldn't do 5 years ago that you now can. I'll go first. So 5 years ago, what was that? Was I still in high school? No. This season I just graduated. Oh my gosh. So guys, fast forward to college, 2 years later, I studied abroad in South Korea. And 5 years ago, I could barely form a sentence or a few words in Korean. And then 5 years to now, I've traveled to South Korea. I have spoken full-on conversations in full Korean. I've made a whole bank account in Korean. And I couldn't do that 5 years ago today, and now I can. And that is just the 2 year version of me, but even the 5 year version of me. Before then, I was so scared to sing and perform. Like, I mean, I've always done theater and stuff, but singing really was like a scary thing for me. Fast forward, I did a whole singing class in college where you had to sing. It was kind of like Glee. It was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. We would have to get in front of the class and perform a little. It was called singing for the actor, and you had to sing, but like a monologue through it. Like singers they sing, actors they act, and singing for the actor was like a combine of the two. So you're singing, you're like Jolene, like you're having a little look. You're like, anyways, it's a whole little thing. But fast forward to then, I did that class and got better. We're always working, okay? We're always working on our craft to get better, acting, singing, dancing, languages, anything. We're always working. But fast forward, and then we had to do a showcase at the end of the class of the semester, and I was like, wait. So you're telling me we have to sing in front of it was an auditorium. I was like, we have to do that in front of people? Fast forward, I did Cruising for a Bruising from Teen Beach Movie. If you know, you know, you better run, because here we come, okay? I did that song, and then I did, what was the other one? I did two songs. I remember, the other one was from a musical. It's kind of funny that I can barely remember now. But 5 year ago, me would have said, you're not getting on that stage. And I just remember so many times in high school and middle school, y'all. Fun fact, I've never done a talent show. Can you believe that? Some of y'all are looking at me like, I just met you. Listen, well, if you don't know, I've been acting and being extra and performing since middle school. I was in theater. I did that in middle school, high school, performed, like singing, like classes, all that stuff like that, acting and all that jazz. But I always wanted to do a talent show, but I never did because I was so scared of everyone seeing me on there. I didn't even know if I was gonna act, sing, rap. Because I did have my rapper face too. People don't know, I actually used to have a rapping page. That's like a deep cut. That's a deep cut that will stay a deep cut. But Yeah, and I just always wanted to do the talent show, and I never did. And then fast forward to me in college, performing on that stage, singing in front of a bunch of random people. I mean, obviously, some of them were my peers that I've seen around the campus, but that was a lot for me, and I did it, and then I felt so good. I was like, wow, oh my gosh, I performed. But yeah, guys. Yeah, that talent show just unlocked something in my brain. I'm really thinking about that. Like, wow. If you're young, I'm saying that like I'm like a billion years old. But no, seriously, guys. If you're like a performer or somebody and you want to do the talent show and you're in high school, college, middle school, or an extracurricular, an organization outside of work, a fun thing, a little moment, do it, okay? Do it. Because when I used to see those people in the talent shows and they were singing, and whether it was tea or whether they were just having fun on stage or whether they were shy and you could tell, I always was rooting for them. I was always like, yes, because my fear was the fact that people would, laugh, like joke and stuff like that. But the thing is, the people that will laugh and joke, they're not on that stage either. And me, I was always silently rooting for everybody. Or I was like loudly, I was like, yes! But I just love seeing people get on stage and do their talents. I remember my friends in like even elementary, they did karate for like their talent for the talent show. And I was like, okay, y'all did amazing. But yeah, I would always root for the people that did the talent show because I'm like, I wanted to do it so bad, but I never did. But we're fast forward and I've done many shows later, sung on stage in front of people, and danced, and yeah, it's a lot. But that's what I'm saying. The first part was think of things you could not have done 5 years ago, and what you can do now. Yeah, you'd be surprised when you really think about it. And there's more, but I could harp all day about this. The next part of what I wanted to talk about is that the future version of you won't fully make sense yet, and that is okay. Because when you think about it, think about this. All the greats, I always mention the greats, but there needs to be no names. But all the people that are really successful in whatever they're doing, that are like the top in their fields, in their paths, in their paths, and whatever it is that they're doing, they started just like you're starting. They started from the beginning. They started when they didn't fully know where they were going. Do you think the top people in their industries, whether it be music, whether it be business, whether it be that kind of had a little bass, but everybody that was in the top, people that started their entrepreneurship journey, did you when you think about it, every business, every place that you give your money to, it really started off as an entrepreneurship. It really started off as someone believing in themselves. It really started off as a person saying, hey, you know what? I think I want to produce this to people and I think maybe they'll like it. And now fast forward to years later, and like there's companies and the hundreds and thousands and millions of employees, and even your favorite artists, they started making songs, making notepads and just writing stuff down. People probably laughed or people didn't or nobody cared. But now they're selling their shows, making their music. They have people that love their genre and just really relate with their what's going on. And everybody starts from the beginning. And you have to know that. You have to be okay that it won't make sense and you won't fully see the future for yourself right now. But as long as you start, as long as you know where you want to go, if you look at somebody that is doing something that you want to do and you just say to yourself, I really want to be doing that. I want to do that. I want to be that. I want to be like them. You should be yourself. But also, you really have to just go towards it because you never know where you're going to end up, okay? And you don't need clarity to move forward. A lot of people like to wait for the moment, and I've learned that in this last year after graduating from university, that stop waiting for the moment. Stop trying to wait for something to happen. Stop trying to wait to be ready. You don't just wait for the readiness to come and then, okay, I'm ready, let's go. No, you do things, you put systems in place, you work your little habits, you work your things to get ready, okay? We don't just sit here and say, yeah, right. Okay, I think tomorrow I'm gonna run a 10K mile. Boom. Pause. So you might, break every bone in your body. Exaggeration. But y'all, the way that I just made that sound effect for no reason. Anyways, but you don't just sit and then wait for the readiness to come. You have to actively start even when you don't feel it. Okay, guys, when I started this YouTube channel, I didn't feel ready. When I went into that singing for the actor class, I didn't feel ready. When I literally have in this last year that I've been doing film things and I've auditioned for things and got a few things and went on set, did I feel ready? No. Have I been acting for over a decade? Yes. But was I still like, okay, the film is a whole new ballgame? Yes. When I post videos on social media and showing my craft, am I fully ready for the feedback, the criticism, the loving, the everything? No. And when you just can't, you gotta just do. You gotta just do, and the readiness will eventually come. You know, you're gonna develop that system. Now when I put on this camera, I'm like, okay, yeah, I've done this literally. Oh my gosh. This is my 101st video. Wait, is this my 100 or 101st? Regardless, y'all, I've been posting on YouTube for 100 days straight. Can y'all believe that? If you're watching this video, I posted yesterday, the day before, and also 98, 97 days before that, okay? And you're gonna get a video tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Y'all, I have really been posting on YouTube every single day for 100 days. Give me my tens. Am I right? What kind of video is better to talk about that than this video? Give myself my tens. Okay, I'm giving myself my tens. Wow, I didn't feel ready. Honestly, when I started this in February, I was like, Branson, look, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, look, we're creative. We're trying to show the vision. Let's do it. You know, you're documenting this, and I am documenting this stage of my life. Okay, the very uncertain stage. But wow, 100 videos, guys, that's crazy. That alone should end this video. That is ending this video, okay? Just, you don't have to fully see where you're going yet. You don't have to fully know. Just believe in yourself before there is proof, okay? And I'm still gonna continue to post, okay? Okay? Wow, that's insane. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. You're amazing. Act on it. Do it. Let's do it. Let's get it going. Thank y'all so much. I love you. And bye.